I'm Sophia.
And I'm Tommy.
Tonight on News, How Safe Was Birdwood Road? We bring you a special report.
A look at the alarming rise in the number of homeless people sleeping rough in Cambridge.
And we speak to Cambridge MP Daniel Zeichner about his plans to tackle pollution in Cambridge.
But first, today's news.
Tommy took his dog Buddy for a walk in the woods. The dog tripped over several times. It is believed that some large tree roots were to blame. Buddy was thankfully unharmed.
Sophia's baby sister accidentally dialed the emergency services on her mum's phone. One eyewitness described Sophia's mum as quite embarrassed.
Anna is standing in her hallway watching her puppy.
And my dad is struggling because it is really, really windy.
And finally, over 100 local people gathered at Cambridge Junction to watch the live broadcast of a new local television news show. People were seen laughing and smiling, and the crowd was described by observers as being really unbelievably excited.
And now a special report on Birdwood Road from our reporters Josh, Jacob, Sophia and Charlie.
Birdwood Road is a quiet street in the south of Cambridge. Birdwood Road is quite a long street, so you only really know your neighbours and not really anyone else. There's a telephone box which you can still use the phone, but in the back of it it's also a library. Sometimes there's quite a lot of traffic, but it's not really loud.
There aren't many people walking on the road.
There's nice green spaces and parks in this area of Cambridge.
Living in this area of Cambridge is great and it's very peaceful and calm, and I like living here.
Even though there's a big university which most people go to, it's quite quiet around this area of Cambridge.
We heard about a crime that happened here a few months ago.
There was a person found on Birdwood Road with a fractured skull. Police attended and they found out he'd been in several robberies.
That crime was a little while ago now. The police cars have all gone.
We went back to Birdwood Road to find out from some people around there how they feel about their city.
Am I happy? Yes.
I am happy, yes. Very happy, actually.
Yes, Cambridge is a nice place. I'm from Ireland, from Dublin originally, so for me, I've been here for several years and it's a very welcoming city. There's lots of people from different parts of the UK, but also parts of the world, so there's really nice atmosphere, I think.
Do you like living here in Cambridge?
Yes. Very much so.
We moved here when we retired, and it's the best move we've ever made.
I do like living here. It's a little bit chaotic on the roundabout, but I do love the centre of Cambridge.
It's quite peaceful. Everyone here seems to be very knowledgeable. Yeah, and education is a priority, and that makes it kind of good for young people. So, because through education they can get to know and have knowledge of how to live as civil people in the midst of other people.
Have you experienced problems with crime in Cambridge?
Yes, unfortunately. Just last week or the week before.
My garage got broken into.
Was anything stolen when you...
Yes, my son's tools. We had some money stolen and they broke our back door.
Probably I live a quite quiet life. I don't go out at night a lot, so but no, I haven't had a problem around here or even in the centre of Cambridge.
No problems with crime, only problems with cyclists.
Do you think crime is being dealt with in Cambridge?
Sometimes. Often not fast enough, I think.
Well, the police were wonderful, really good. They were very helpful, and our neighbours were very helpful too. So I think as well as they can, I think. The police haven't got much money at the moment, that's one of the problems.
I don't seem to see any issues around. So yeah, I think it's, especially in this part of town.
We were surprised to hear that a lot of people had been affected by crime. So we wanted to speak to someone who could tell us more.
We met up with PC David Byrne to ask him about crime and policing in Cambridge.
If you've been the victim of a crime and we don't help as quickly as we might have been doing so in the past, you might think that the service isn't as well. Because at the moment there are fewer police officers, there is less money, but crime is going up. There are more and more people living in Cambridge and the surrounding area, so there are less police officers per person than there were 5 years ago. There are lots of different crimes that happen all the time. So there are burglaries that will be happening every day. There's, where we are now at the Junction, there are lots of people that kind of get drunk and then there'll be fights that start, especially at the weekend on Fridays and Saturdays. We're lucky that Cambridge is quite a safe place to live. It's much better than lots of other places around the country and even in the county. So yeah, you don't have to worry too much about crime. I think not just Cambridge, but generally, most people are afraid of being burgled or being robbed because the thought of having someone going through your stuff, turning out all your drawers, looking through all your things, that frightens lots of people.
What rules are there about how the police can use force?
So we can only use force in certain situations. We can't be ordered to use force. It's all down to the individual officer themselves. And what you have to do, it has to be the least amount of force necessary to do the thing that you want them to do. If it's, for example, a murderer and they've got a gun or a knife, then you can kill them. And you have to justify your use of force.
I think Cambridge is facing heavy burglaries.
Police are doing a really good job even though they haven't got that much money.
Cambridge is a small city where lots of people know each other. This makes it feel more safe.
Stay safe. And if you live on Birdwood Road, or even if you don't, try not to worry about being burgled.
This is Charlie, Sophia, Jacob and Josh reporting for News from Birdwood Road, CB1 32D, signing off.
And since that report was completed, we have not heard of any new crimes on Birdwood Road. We did, however, find a dead robin on the street. Cause of death remains unknown. How safe do you think Cambridge is, Tommy?
Out of 10, I'd say 5.5.
Interesting. Local news now, and just over there is a lady who tries to tell the truth but sometimes has to lie. She thinks Theresa May should resign. And I'm handing over to Tommy for the weather. Tommy?
Thanks, Sophia. Just give me a couple seconds to get out. So I'm out of the Junction and it's very cold out here. It is raining a little bit and I can see lots of cars parked out the Junction. I can see a Jeep, a Toyota and some other cars. The sky is quite greyish black. You come out of the studio and I can see the Frank and Benny's sign swaying in the breeze. There are pigeons and lots of bikes locked up. That's it for the weather. Back to the studio, Sophia.
Thanks, Tommy. And now a report from the city centre from our reporters Abigail, Tommy and Yassine.
What do you see when you walk through the streets of Cambridge? Shops, Tesco's, Co-op, book shops, clothes shops, Subway, McDonald's, Yo Sushi, King's College Chapel and St Mary's Church. While seeing these things, In Cambridge, we also saw homeless people sleeping on the streets.
We wanted to find out more about their lives. I wanted to know, how do homeless people get money and food?
What choices did they make that turned out for them to be homeless? Are the council helping the homeless, and are the council using all their effort to help the homeless? To find out more about what it's like to be homeless and what people are doing to help, we went to Cambridge Cyrenians, a homeless charity in Cambridge, to meet with Shane, who used to be homeless, and Emma, who works at Cambridge Cyrenians.
I grew up in Burwell and I went to Boxing Village College. I've just lately moved into my own place after being homeless.
How did you become homeless?
By choosing the wrong path when I was at school. It all started at school and it snowballed on, and eventually it all caught up with me and I ended up homeless. If you become homeless when you left school, you was left on your own unless you had good people around you. I only had my brother at the time. I have family, but he wasn't in a great position himself, but he helped as much as he could.
For most people, I would say that they become homeless because of how they cope with things or a lack of coping strategies. You don't know how you're going to react when something bad happens in your life until you're faced with that situation. And for some people, it's easier to walk away, or it's better for them to walk away, or it's better for them to seek out drugs or alcohol to stop them thinking of that bad time. And it's a very fine line nowadays between being homeless and being in a good situation. The line between that has gone really skewed over the past few years.
What did you have to go through every day when you were homeless?
Not having your own space, not knowing what life's about. Just didn't have a clue really. It was not a nice place to be.
Within the general population, a lot of people kind of do stigmatise people who are street homeless, or they must be using drugs, or they must be drinking, or they must have done something, they must have been to prison. Whereas actually quite a few people are coming through because they really can't afford private accommodation and they just can't afford to pay their bills.
Getting judged by people who don't know you and then labelling you, yeah, no, I didn't take it too well.
Shane's experience made me feel sad, upset, because I don't want to see anyone go through that experience. And Emma told us the situation is only getting worse.
So in terms of numbers, homelessness presenting to us has literally tripled within the past 18 months. So you've gone from having like 10 people rough sleeping on the rough sleep accounts to being verified to over 40.
Do you think that the council do enough for homeless people?
With their limited resources, they try, yeah, they do try, but it's so overstretched and underfunded now. It is what it is.
We decided to go to the council to see what they were doing to help homeless people. We spoke with Mariette from the housing team, who told us they were trying hard with not much money.
I have just interviewed someone from the Cambridge Council over there, and we've learnt that homelessness is actually a big problem in the UK.
I think they're doing as much as they can, but I don't think they're doing like that much, because there's still a lot of homeless people on the street.
They could probably help by giving the council more money to help with homelessness. Apparently the council didn't have enough answers. This investigation's made me think different about Cambridge, that Cambridge is also facing problems.
The bank can't print money.
I've learned that donating to charity is really easy. You can do it at the City Council building on Regent Street. You can donate by just going to one of the windows, and where there's a little machine,
So if you scan your card, you can donate £3. If you get to know homeless people, you can offer them a job and also a house to let them have a better life. We should all try and remember what Shane said to us.
At the end of the day, we're all humans. And if we can't help each other out, then it's a sad society, really.
This is Tommy, Abigail and Yassine reporting for News.
Sports news now, and we begin with the football results. Cambridge United played out a very boring 0-0 draw with Crewe Alexandra. They remained just above the relegation zone. In better news, Cherry Hinton Lions under-11s beat Long Stanton by 3 goals to 2. And I played my first ever game of football. My best friend's brother gave me 7 out of 10. Rugby news, and Jacob completed a shock victory over his dad, winning by 27 points to 10. Jacob described himself as very pleased. His dad is hoping for an improved performance next weekend. Fortnite news, and Yassine beat his cousin in a one-on-one match, and here is a short clip.
I am just a poor boy, though my story is seldom told. I squandered my resistance for a pocket full of mumbles, such are promises.
Finally, rollerblading news, and Bella Rose went rollerblading, and that's the end of the sports news. Now back to Tommy for an update on the weather.
Hi Sophia, I'm at Cambridge Station. The weather here is about the same as it was at the Junction. Looking around me, I can see lots of people. I can see lots of people with suitcases, and there are gates where people have to put their card in so they can get through to the train. I can see a man with his hood up and a Nike bag with holding a sandwich and eating it. I can see a man with a little toddler. The toddler's in a red coat and the man's in a super dry jacket. I can see a woman with a pink hat with 2 suitcases and a purple bag. I can see 2 women standing. They both have their phones on and they're both holding bags, and they both have big coats on, and they both have black bags. I can see an old lady with a little toddler, and she has a bag that looks like it's from the seaside, and she has a little thing where the kid can play on. I can see a man with a bike in a yellow vest. I can see a man on a bike. I can see a man with a bike on it with a yellow vest. I can see a construction worker. Through the doors I can see people on their platform waiting to get to the train. The atmosphere is very hyper. Lots of people are in a hurry. That's about everything. Back to you in the studio, Sophia.
Thanks, Tommy. And now we turn to our final in-depth report of the evening. We have been investigating illegally high levels of pollution in Cambridge. For more on that story, here are Ruby, May and Bella Rose.
Heat waves in February. Plastic in the ocean is hurting animals in the sea.
Smoke coming from factories.
Petrol is making people sick and the air not that clean. People can't be bothered to put rubbish in the bin. The world is messed up from pollution, and so is Cambridge. I'd like to know whose fault is it and how can we help? We wanted to find out, so we went to speak to Daniel Zeichner, the MP of Cambridge.
Are you concerned about the effect of pollution on our environment?
Very much. It's one of the biggest challenges we face. And what we've learned more in recent years is, for instance, just how damaging dirty air can be. And we've had some really sad cases in some of our cities where quite clearly, in extreme cases, young children have died because of the poor quality of the air. The council now tries to monitor the air in various places, but if you go into some of the very busy bits in the centre of the city, the air quality is consistently not good enough. So we need to make big improvements.
How do you think we can stop pollution?
Well, I think the best way actually is to try and get countries to agree, because we can change what we do, but for instance, in recent times there have been many new power stations being built around the world, some of them still burning coal, which emits a huge amount of carbon. We need to persuade those countries to change as well. We need to lead by example, but in the end we'll only do it probably by cooperating with other people, in my view.
What is stopping Parliament from doing more about pollution?
Well, I would say it's because the current government doesn't want to do some of the things that a Labour government would do. But that's for people to choose in an election. There may be an election soon, and people will see what the different parties are suggesting, and they can make their choice. For a long time I've been saying that young people should be able to vote in elections at the age of 16. I'd be interested to know what you and your fellow pupils think about that. My experience is when I go and talk to 16 and 17-year-olds is they know just as much about the world as a lot of older people, and sometimes feel far more strongly and passionately about it. So why not lower the voting age?
What Daniel Zeichner had to say was interesting, but we needed to get a different view on pollution. We went to the David Attenborough building in Cambridge.
We met with Nathan Williams, a climate activist. He told us how serious climate change is.
Well, one of the campaigns that I'm very involved in at the moment is with Extinction Rebellion, which is a relatively newly formed group that is pushing for social justice, particularly around climate change and the ecological crisis. So lots of animals are going extinct because of human activity and because of climate change, and of course climate change in the future, well now, but also especially in the future for your generation, is going to have some really serious effects. So in a worst case scenario, you could have sea levels rising really high and flooding cities such as London, potentially more wars between countries because things like water is running out. It's you guys that are going to be facing the brunt of some of the negative effects of climate change, and so it's really important that we talk to you so we can understand what it is you want the world to look like, so we can help you to make that happen. The power that we have, I don't think, is to make individual consumer changes. Oh, I buy a different phone, or I buy a different piece of meat, or I buy a different type of egg. I don't really think that's the change that is necessary to make the bigger change. I think the power that individuals have is joining together, coming together, having conversations, discussing how they would like a different world to look and how they want a new system to work, and then pushing people like Daniel Zeichner towards that better world that we all want to see. It's a good question. How many people do you need to persuade in order to make the changes that you want to see? And there's lots of research that suggests that you definitely don't need a majority of people within a movement or to be sympathetic to your movement to make those changes. There's a number of around 3.5% of a population roughly that you need to be engaged.
Do you agree with Daniel Zeichner that teenagers should be allowed to vote when they're 16?
Yes, absolutely. I'd 14. Younger.
Why do you think that?
Because I don't think that you can put an arbitrary, I don't think you can say, well, when someone gets to to a certain age, all of a sudden they have the insight and the knowledge that enables them to make a decision. I think a 14-year-old is more than capable of reading, learning, understanding, and making a decision that's in the best interest for them and for their generation. So I would be in favour of bringing the voting age down to 14.
Nathan and Daniel both had very interesting things to say. I believe Daniel more because he's an MP and he isn't allowed to lie.
It's not good to lie.
I believe Nathan more because he seemed more truthful.
And he told us more information. Pollution is more important than you think, and small things can make a big difference.
People need to stop destroying our world. This is Ruby May and Bella Rose reporting for News. Back to you in the studio.
It's nearly time for us to leave you, but before we do, let's take a quick look at the headlines from tomorrow's newspapers. A14 reopens after major pile-up. Cambridge University still missing diversity targets. Mixed reaction as Queen Elizabeth II visits Cambridge. Lost baby lion reunited with family. Handshake at football match unites rival families. Cambridge Junction quarantined due to viral outbreak. Mayor of Cambridge dead at 48. Someone in Cambridge wants to get arrested. Meghan Markle gives birth. Meghan Markle does not give birth. Volcano erupts in Japan. Local criminals give up crime. Cambridge Town Fair declared a partial success. 5 people missing, police appeal for help. Pie fight breaks out on Regent Street. War breaks out in the Sea of Japan. Local Cambridge couple are revealed as heads of secret spy agency. Spider-Man 7 released. Cambridge residents celebrate flower festival. Someone important dies and everyone is sad. All cars are combined to create new supercar. Everything becomes black and white. Fortnite comes to life. 2,000 Cambridge citizens arrested on a single day. No one else ever dies. We can fly like butterflies. Parker's Piece becomes iPhone graveyard. Britain declares war on Germany again. Massive prison break causes panic in Cambridge. Cambridge gains rubbish. Flowers learn to sneeze. Popular burglary robot declared illegal. Pandas extinct. Scientists declared pollution officially stopped. New collar allows dogs to finally speak. Earth moves closer to the sun. Robot rebellion. Cambridge is on fire. Robots officially declared to be people. The sky turns rainbow. Phones become rainbows. Everything turns rainbow. Every extinct animal is now alive. The first song of death created. Animals roam the earth. And that's all for tomorrow's headlines. Thank you for watching News. Have a very good evening and we hope to see you again soon.